have your videos maybe help people who have struggled to eat, maybe somebody who had an eating disorder?
If I could just hop on and have a meal with somebody on TikTok and just help one person, like that's a win for me.
We're going to pull out these pretzels. So if you had this, walk me through where your headspace is as you're creating the content.
Well, first, I wouldn't immediately open the bag. You know, I'd probably like crinkle the bag a little bit and then take a bite.
We're going to get to all of that in a hot second, but first I want you to know the Ryan Leckey Show is sponsored by the Vanity Lounge in Pittston, PA, northeastern Pennsylvania's premier medical spa. Visit them at vanityloungenepa.com, and when booking your first appointment and service, use code Leckey to save 15%. I'm a huge fan of the owner, Tia. She takes care of this mug all the time, so check them out. Hey, friends. It's the Ryan Leckey Show. Welcome to the Ryan Leckey Show. Hey friends, what's going on? Hopefully you brought your appetite to this edition of the Ryan Leckey Show. And if you're like, why? Because we are talking about a amazing food content creator on the podcast with us today, Sarah Mukbang. Am I saying that right? Those are your handles on social media?
That correct.
Okay,
Thank you for having me.
I have gone down the rabbit hole on your videos on what you do, and we're going to kind of just dive into this so people get a gist of it. So
Sure thing.
I've heard, so you're into, you call it mukbang. I've heard some people refer to it as mukbang, right? And I just got to give you the definition because Sarah, what really caught my attention was the videos she does, her approach to the content she creates, how you end up watching, you're like, oh my God, I just watched this whole video and I'm enthralled with this woman eating, right? And it's like, it's sort of, I'm going to have her kind of explain what it is, but you have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, tens of thousands on Instagram, right? And I'm fascinated by what you do and the people who follow you and how this all comes together. So tell me if I have this right. Mukbang or mukbang,
Yes.
the definition of it is an online audio-visual broadcast in which a host consumes various quantities of food while interacting with the audience. Would you say that's kind of what you do, or how would you even drill down that a little bit more?
So mukbangs or mukbangs, they really came to be in Korea, I believe in like 2010. And so at that time, a mukbang was essentially somebody eating large quantities of food in front of an audience and interacting with the audience. But I think that a mukbang has like really evolved over time. So kind of what I do is not quite that. Like I don't eat like a large amount of food in
But
front
I
of
see
my
what you eat and you're like the size of my pinky. I'm blown away.
Well, you know, everything you see on TikTok or social media is not always reality. But, you know, just seeing one meal doesn't give you like the full scope of like what I'm eating all day or kind of that. But
So let's pretend too, by the way, that
Sure.
say people haven't seen your social media channels.
Okay.
If they go onto your TikTok today, what are the videos I would see you doing so they get kind of the picture of it?
Sure. So I call myself a food content creator because I will often try the different foods that are trending on social media. But then I also do eating style videos, which is a mukbang, and they typically have an ASMR type style to them. So
How would you describe ASMR to people not familiar with it?
So ASMR is like satisfying sounds. So like
You can use the mic. Go ahead.
like the crunch of Cheetos or like the opening of a bag or like slurping of soup.
And do what you did earlier on the mic before we sat down when you were giving us a little mic test.
Yeah. Like I see ASMR artists on TikTok. Like I'll see them at night like on live and they're like playing with the microphone and like touching it or like they'll have a brush and they'll brush the microphone and it's supposed to have like a very satisfying sound in your ear. Yeah.
So this is what
like before I go to bed.
Mukbang is. This is kind of what you do, mukbang, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's how you got the name Sarah Mukbang across your social media channels.
Correct.
I am amazed how many people, and I'm guilty of it because now I'm like following you for this content.
Love that.
How many people are just enthralled with watching people eat, but the way you eat.
Yeah. I think that a lot of it is like that satisfying element of it. But then I also feel like, and maybe I think a lot of people feel this way too, like it's just so interesting to see what other people eat. You know, like it's kind of like an intimate experience to sit down and like have a meal with somebody or you like get to learn about their culture. Like I think people are just interested in what other people eat.
So what
You know?
prompted you to start making these videos, and when? How did you get
So-
involved in this? Like, you're filming yourself eating, and people are like encapsulated by this.
Yeah, I would say so. I have been obsessed with mukbangs and like other ASMR style content for probably like 10 years, but it was over COVID when we were all on lockdown. And at that time, I was virtually getting my undergrad and I was working from home. And I was like, I need some kind of creative outlet. I need to do something. And I feel like TikTok was like going crazy at that time too. Like everybody was like doing the TikTok dances. Like everybody was
Yes.
bored at home, like needed something to do. So I feel like I just at that point I was like, I'm gonna start my own mukbang channel. I'm like, what do I have to lose? You know? So
And you did it.
the rest is history.
So how did you get started? Because ultimately you're filming yourself eating different kinds of foods. Is there a certain type of food you have to eat when you create mukbang videos, or is it like whatever you want? I know you do trending ones.
Yeah, I could eat whatever I want, and I do eat whatever I want. But at the same time, there are certain foods that people like to see. Like there are certain foods, if I post it, I know I'm going to get millions of views. And then there's other ones that just kind of, they're not as popular.
What are the hottest videos that you get tons of views on? What's the food people love to see you eat?
I would say Mexican cuisine. Like birria tacos or a good Chipotle burrito.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the thing is, you really don't talk in the videos.
I don't
Right?
know.
So do you hold it up? Walk me through. I'm trying to get in your head. Okay.
Okay.
And maybe we're going to try to eat some food. So
I would love that.
So say you have a big burrito in your hand. Walk me through that. Like, what do you do to start the video to get people pulled in?
I really try and focus on the sounds in the video. So sometimes like when I first start, I'll like crinkle the foil around
Yeah,
it.
okay.
And then I typically, so if I have a burrito, you know, I'll do that. And then I'll also put lots of sauces on it. People go crazy when I like put the sour cream and the hot sauce and like all of that and like dress up the burrito.
When you started this, right,
Yeah.
the peak was like kind of during COVID when you really started getting into this. And you told your family and your friends, were they like, girl, what are you doing? Be honest, what was the reaction you got from people who know Sarah off of TikTok?
Well, it's funny because I feel like when I started, it wasn't really that big of a thing on TikTok yet. So people didn't really understand it. They're like, you eat on camera? Like what? Like they didn't really understand it. But I feel like over time, like those types of videos have gotten so popular. So now, like when I tell people like, oh, I have a mukbang like food account on TikTok with like a large following, they're like, oh yeah, like that's so cool. Like that's so cool that you do that. You know, like it's more like normalized in a way. But at first it wasn't as well received. It was just kind of like confusion.
Yeah, well, do
Like,
you ever
what-
get
what?
negative feedback by doing these videos by anybody? And if so, what kind of things do people say?
Yes. I feel like in social media, whenever you have a following and if you have a video that goes viral, you are subjected to the trolls.
Oh, here comes the haters, right?
Here
The
come-
keyboard warriors.
Oh, exactly. So you're just subjected to that. I would like to bring you back to the sour cream gate of 2021 when people were alarmed at the amount of sour cream that I put on my chili.
They were shook.
They were shook.
I didn't like that.
It was so funny because like the video had millions of views, but it was probably because of the trolls that it got so many views because people were like, ew, how could you eat that much sour cream? And like to me, I'm like, this is a normal amount of sour cream. I don't know what you all are talking about.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer when you're making your mukbang videos to make the food yourself? Do you make some of the food yourself, or you always buy it somewhere?
It's really a mix. I mean, I love eating out, so I will often mukbang food that I see, or I also mukbang food that I buy because, or like, you know, from a restaurant because I see other people trying them. And I'm like, oh, that looks so good. I have to try it. But I also do love making the food TikTok trends. So it's like it's a mix between things I'm making in my kitchen and things I'm door dashing.
We should point out, though, here's what's impressive about you. Not only are you a food content creator, you have a full-time day job,
Oh yeah.
which is
I'm a teacher. I'm a special education teacher. So I teach kindergarten through second grade.
Do your colleagues and people know you have these channels?
Well, it's funny.
And it's not like you're doing anything by any means inappropriate. I want to stress
Yeah.
that. You're literally just filming yourself eating food.
Yes, it's very. I'm. My career is what's most important to me. So I always make sure to that my content is like G-rated.
Which it is, and I want to
Yeah.
attest to that.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. So it's funny because TikTok was basically like my main source of income through college. So I'm 34. I decided to go back to school when I was 29. So all throughout my schooling, I was TikToking on the side, and it was like my little side hustle.
And people don't realize that. You were making money to pay for your college education by eating food on camera, filming it, and distributing it to the masses.
Exactly.
How did you make money off of that?
So,
And what kind of coin are we talking here?
well, I won't go too deep into that. I'm not going to crunch numbers, but, TikTok they have a creator fund. So they do pay their creators for the views that they receive on their videos. So that was a source of income for me. But then I also have some brand deals.
And what happens? You have a brand deal with somebody, and they just send you burritos to eat, or send you certain types of food to eat?
It depends on what it is. I have a long-standing deal with Bloom Nutrition, so it's like a greens company, and so they just ask that I like naturally incorporate their product like into my mukbangs. So a lot of brands like to do that, where they just want you to naturally like present their product or their food into one of my videos. So yeah.
Now, do your fans, the people who follow you on social media, have certain foods they'd love to see you eat? So like if you eat something, then they're like, no, Sarah, go back and eat this.
I'd probably say fast food. Chipotle, McDonald's, Five Guys.
I'm getting hungry.
I know.
How often do you eat this food? Because I look at you look like you're in great shape. Looks like you work out, you take care of yourself, and it's hilarious because I'm saying like you're talking about all this other food you eat. So how often are you like going through the drive-through?
Not as often as TikTok makes you think I do. I always on my TikTok too, like I try to say that like I really think it's important to have balance within your life. So finding that balance between eating the foods that fuel your soul, which is mostly what you're seeing on my TikTok, but then also eating foods that are full of nutrients and the foods that you need as fuel for your body. So I try to find that like delicate balance between the two.
And how many videos do you create or post a week?
Oh, around like 5.
Do you ever try to
10?
like batch the content and eat like 7 meals on a Saturday and then just cut up 7 different clips?
No. Sometimes like on a Saturday, like I'll like film a lot of my ads. So if I have ads that are due soon, I'll try and get them all done in one day.
But it's you filming yourself eating, not even talking, right? So I think what's fascinating when people get to meet Sarah Mukbang, the creator behind these accounts, this might be the first time they ever heard your voice.
Well, I do a little talking on TikTok, but it's not much. I agree. Like most of the videos that do go viral, like you don't see me talking in them. So yeah, this is a totally different forum for me. Yeah.
I love it, and I'm still like so enthralled with this
I'm
because
so excited.
I was watching you the other day, and you were eating what looked like I thought was just this giant bowl of soup that had ice cubes in it, but it was a Korean dish.
Yes, it's called. I hope I don't butcher this, but it's called hwache, and it is a cold fruit soup, and it is going viral on TikTok right now. So I was like, I gotta try the food trends.
And we saw the video. So how was it?
It was delicious. Like unsuspectingly, like so refreshing and delicious. And like the base of the soup is strawberry milk and Sprite.
Okay.
Like 2 drinks that you wouldn't think would go well together.
And it was good.
It was so good. Yeah.
I think too, I was going to ask, because some people like you just said that you really try to balance, like, yes, you're going to have your fast food, but then you also try to work in some nutritious food. But some people who are really hardcore into mukbang, right, they might consume large quantities of food. Tell me about, like, how do you try to walk that fine line so you don't, I mean, one, affect your health, but also maybe don't go down that rabbit hole where people might start being like, you know, that's a lot. Like, it seems like some of these people, like, they go it's like a buffet they're eating in one sitting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes I watch mukbangs of people just bringing out like trays of, McDonald's with like 5 Big Macs on them and like 5 Big and Tasties and all the fries. But I know myself, and I know that if I were to like go down that route, I might be able to get some great views and the trolls would definitely come out and gain me some viewership. But that's just not the route that I plan to take my channel down. Like I really try to, not do anything that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So
Do you ever do a video and afterward have you ever pushed yourself too far with some of the food you've eaten? Like, was it that good or you just kept going and maybe crossed the line yourself?
yeah, I'm sure. But I also try to have grace with myself too. Like if I overeat, it's like, okay, like that was one meal. I really enjoyed it. It's okay. And just kind of move forward from that.
And are you married, have family? Like, do you have a significant other who sees this?
Oh yeah, I have a significant other, Andrew.
Okay, and what is Andrew's thoughts when you're filming this video? Like, were you already a mukbanger when you met Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, and what does he think when you're like, give me a minute, I need to sit down and eat this Big
like,
Mac?
Andrew, please go in the sunroom, close the doors, and let me film. No,
Wow.
he's super supportive. Like he honestly thinks it's so cool, and I also try not to let it like get in the way of our relationship too, because you eat a cool meal, you're at a restaurant and like you're having this amazing meal and like you're like, oh, I want to film it so bad, but like at the same time,
But you don't. That's tough.
Yeah, like I do try to like be present in my moments with him, so that it's not getting in the way.
Tell me about the storytelling you try to work into like the food you're doing.
Sure. So,
I know you kind of casually mentioned, right? Kind of like peeling apart maybe the wrapper of the burrito.
oh, yeah.
That's part of the story with it, or how would you say you kind of weave that through it?
Well, I think it's really cool on TikTok, especially with content creators that make mukbangs, because I feel like they take mukbangs in all different directions. Like you might sit down and have a meal and like share a personal story, or you might sit down and have a meal and like go through the whole recipe process. I think for me, like most of the times when I'm filming mukbangs, it is more of that like satisfying ASMR type of feel. So I think that's kind of like my own creative spin on it.
Is there anything that's like your trade with your videos that you're like, this is what I do when I eat? That's like your signature tag off or your thing.
Probably sour cream.
Sour
Like
cream.
adding sour cream to food. Like people just,
You love sour cream though. Like literally love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I think seeing somebody, right, watching them eat on camera and stuff, I think for you, like when I see your videos, I'm like, she's so comfortable in her skin and she's confident.
Oh, thank you.
Do you feel like have your videos maybe helped people who have struggled to eat, maybe somebody who had an eating disorder, right, that just weren't comfortable, like, I don't know, just being authentic and eating what they want and being okay with it?
Absolutely.
Has anyone ever reached out to you or DM'd you?
Yes, to be honest, I get messages all the time, especially from girls. I myself have struggled with an eating disorder, and that is something that I've been transparent about on my TikTok. So I think that when other girls see my content, like they see a girl who is comfortable eating in front of a camera, in front of millions of people sometimes, and I want to believe that it gives them hope that like things do get better through recovery. So, and also even through my own eating disorder, like through my recovery, I turned to mukbangs as like a form of like support almost.
Therapy?
Yeah, like it was very therapeutic for me to like just sit and watch a video. And sometimes just watching a mukbang would encourage me to eat that day. So maybe I was having a really hard day and I was like, I'm going to restrict myself all day. Like I don't feel worthy of having a meal today, which I would often feel in my eating disorder. But sometimes just watching somebody like enjoy a meal, I'm like, what am I doing? Like
Wow.
I'm going to have a meal. I'm going to eat today. And
This is why we're talking, because I don't think people, if they see your content, right? And if you look at it from 30,000 feet above, it's like, oh, this girl just loves to eat and film herself doing it. But your backstory is somebody who struggled with an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Was it bulimia, anorexia?
it was anorexia. I really struggled with restricting myself. So when I was at the height of my eating disorder, when I was like really in the thick of it, I was restricting my calories to like nothing to like 800 calories a day. I was weighing all my food. I was weighing myself 4 to 5 times a day. It was extremely unhealthy, and it basically consumed my entire life. So if I could just hop on and have a meal with somebody on TikTok and just help one person, like that's a win for me, because I know the struggle of going through that and how isolating and exhausting it could be.
Were there any messages that really stick with you that you got that you're like, this is why I'm going to keep doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I get messages quite frequently just thanking me for posting my story or posting a mukbang. So, and that just is fuel to me to keep doing what I'm doing. Because at the heart of my videos is a girl who struggled with her relationship with her body and her relationship with food. And I'm just here trying to help others that might be going through the same thing.
And during that time when you struggled yourself, were you ever like hesitant to eat in public?
Oh, yes. That was one of my biggest struggles, because while I was going through my eating disorder, I really felt like I needed to be in such control of my diet. I was like, I have to eat a certain amount of food. I have to move my body a certain amount. Like, I really had to be in that full control. So by going out to eat meant giving up that control. Couldn't count the calories, like I really had no idea. So going out to eat just made me feel so out of control. And then also there was a lot of fear of other people judging me while I was eating, and whether these fears were real, that was my reality at the time. So I really avoided going out to eat for a very long time.
And of course, we want to say like everybody's different, right? So some people might need.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to say wouldn't be like an end all be all. We don't want people to take the wrong message away that like, hey, these are the videos that fix this. This is about, you were probably surrounded by a medical team when you really wanted to get the help.
Exactly. And I do want to preface that and say that like everybody's recovery is very individualized. I know what has worked for me. Watching mukbangs isn't going to, it's not the end all be all, it's not the cure, but it is something that has at least helped me in my journey. So, if I could just share that, then,
Yeah. Have you been able to clear up misconceptions? I guess even people who are from the area who know you, northeastern Pennsylvania where you're based, regarding mukbangs and the confusion.
Yeah. I would say like one of
What's the thing we miss?
I would say one of the misconceptions is that I just eat a bunch of fast food, which couldn't be further from the truth. I really try to find a balance in my life between movement and through the things that I'm putting in my body. And one way that I do try to clear up those misconceptions is on my TikTok, I will often post a what I eat in a day video. So I feel like it kind of gives a better idea of like how I am fueling my body throughout the day. And sometimes I also include like movement in it as well. So like you could see, the ways that I also like intentionally like move my body, like whether it's through walks with my dog or yoga. So I try to also show that like bigger glimpse into my life versus just a few clips of me eating a Chipotle burrito. So
this is eye-opening me because I didn't know half of that backstory. That's, I mean, with some of the stuff you're sharing, and the courage I think it took to work through not only your eating disorder, but then also just being comfortable like eating in front of people. And then all of a sudden, like you said, some of your videos, and we've seen it, right? They get like millions of hits. Is there any foods that you say, I'm never eating this on camera, that people might be like, oh, you should try this? What's your like, not doing it?
I'm really not a fan of mayonnaise.
Really?
I love
Why?
sour cream. I love ranch. I hate mayonnaise.
I don't get that because I feel like it tastes the same as sour cream. Not taste the same, but
know.
the texture is very similar.
So no, I really just don't like it. So I saw just this past week, I saw a girl eating weird pregnancy cravings, and she was eating a banana with mayonnaise. I was like, nope. I draw the line at bananas and mayonnaise. So
what's your goal, I guess, with these channels? Like, how long do you want to keep it going? And I think what's fascinating about it, like, you literally paid for your college with help from this side hustle.
Absolutely.
Eating food on camera, which would blow people's minds, right? But I think they don't realize how much work it takes to put the videos together and the content. So maybe tell us about that part of the gig.
Gosh, yes. I mean, sometimes I post like a 30-second clip video, but it's editing 5 to 10 minutes worth of content, you know, especially when it comes to my ads that I do for other companies. So I really take the time to like edit them.
Yeah, and tell me about that.
thoughtfully.
Who are you working with? Can you publicly say any of those?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I work with Bloom Nutrition. I've worked with Magic Spoon. I work with Dossier, which is a perfume company, which is a little different.
Yeah, what do you do? Like take a bite of burrito and
I don't incorporate food into those videos. I mean, I probably could like do like a morning in my life where I like.
and you give them the ads. Do you have to post those on your pages too?
Sometimes I post them on my page. Sometimes I do the UCG ad, so the ad would just go on their page, which I'm kind of working on with a brand right now. So
That's awesome. This is I'm
so cool.
fascinated by like how people get brand deals and everything else.
Yeah.
Like when you started this, did like food companies reach out to you?
Yeah. So I would say like once I hit like maybe like 10,000 followers, I started getting some movement. I got a few emails from brands that just want me to show their product in exchange, or they would send me a free product in exchange for a TikTok video. So that's kind of how it started. So
What did your family and friends think, by the way, when you're like, I'm footing the bill for college with TikTok?
they honestly think it's amazing, and you know, there's a lot of money to be had on TikTok. You know,
Do you feel, because you know there was this time where everyone's like, oh, the U.S. is going to ban TikTok. Were you freaking out when there was talk about it?
I was a little bit because I do, like my following is basically on TikTok. It's not on Instagram and it's not on Facebook. I'm growing my Instagram now, but yeah, I was a little bit, yeah. But like I also like I am very like driven in my career as well. So like for me it's like, okay, if TikTok didn't work out, that would stink, but I would find another creative outlet. So I'd be okay.
Now, did you always have a passion, by the way, for creating this type of content, or just being a content creator?
I think I've always
Or is it just the pandemic? You're like, I'm bored. I'm going to try this.
I think I've always loved social media, you know, like I have always loved like posting about my life on Instagram. TikTok was new to me though, like when that time came about, but like I feel like over COVID, like when we were on lockdown, I just would spend hours like scrolling. I was like so amazed by these like quick short form videos, you know? So I feel like that kind of intrigue with TikTok like came about pretty quickly, like right before I started.
I'm looking at you, listening to you as well, and I'm eyeing up the snack table because
Oh.
I feel like we wouldn't be doing justice to this podcast if you didn't kind of walk me through maybe where your headspace is if you're trying to film a video with food. And we should stress most of the time you're not talking in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll kind of flip the script. I want to give you like we're gonna pull out these pretzels.
Sure.
Stand by. I'm like caught here on my headphones. Okay, so I'm gonna because you and I eyed these up. I was like, let's eat these.
Yeah.
All right. So
Anything
tell me
ranch.
though. So if you had this, walk me through where your headspace is. So if this was whether it was a burrito or another snack, or you got
Oh,
pretzels here, as you're creating the content. So I see how this kind of all comes together because people are glued to the screen when folks like you do this.
Well, first, I wouldn't immediately open the bag. You know, I'd probably like crinkle the bag a little bit, present the product to the camera.
And do you have a crazy mic in front of you while you're eating? When
I
you're doing that?
don't. You know what? I just film with my phone.
Get out. I thought I was like, this girl probably has some
Thank
high-end
you.
mic. Okay, so walk me through it. Take me through it.
So sometimes like I'll just like crinkle the bag and then open. And then sometimes I'll like show like what's inside to the camera. And then probably like also show the little pretzel and then take a bite.
All right, you're going to give me the bag too because I got to dive into these.
Yeah, please.
So go ahead. So is the goal though, is just this is where I feel like it lends itself to ASMR.
Yes.
The chewing.
Yes. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Some people get grossed out. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fascinated, but I also love listening to people chew gum.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
why.
yeah.
All right. So go ahead. Take me through it. So then you open the bag, you kind of show them the food,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and I try to like create like an ASMR type of like experience as I'm just opening the bag, right? And then you take
I'm
a
trying to
bite.
make it really pop. That was a good one.
So yeah.
And for you, probably you don't talk a lot in your videos because you're chewing, right? By the way, these are some good pretzels.
Those are really
I
good.
feel very like soothed sitting on the couch eating with you.
Oh my
And we literally just met maybe 20 minutes ago.
Did we just become best friends?
Besties. I would eat with you anytime, except I probably would be like super like glued to you, like while you're like eating and unraveling the burrito.
Well, it's funny too, because even
look at me, I'm still eating. She's talking. I'm over here wolfing down this bag of pretzels. You want any more?
This is a very different format for me. Somebody else eating and I'm talking. No. Yeah, I'll take another one. When I went to Nashville with two of my best friends over the summer. And they're like, let me just like see your process. Cause like we went out to we went out to one of the like famous hot chicken places. And like, of course I had to film a little bit. And they're like, let's see the process. Let's see the artist at work.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing. Now, I guess you said you try to separate. I'm like fascinated listening to her just chewing. I think with the mics, I'm getting like, I feel like VIP ASMR treatment right now. So, but I guess the thing is though, like you say, you try to separate the two, right? But are there times like you've been out or on vacation, you're like, I'm not going to film, and then something just lands there, right? Like, did you ever see that lady who does ASMR and she's eating pickles, and they use memes with her and everything else?
Oh, I don't know. I've probably seen her, but I do, like, if I'm going out and I know I'm gonna get something that like my TikTok followers would love, I try to like just film really quick in the beginning, right? So just like take a few bites, do my thing, set the phone down or put it away. You know?
So do you hand the phone to your man Andrew, and you're like, here, film me eating this cheeseburger?
not typically. I draw the line there.
Okay.
So
this is crazy.
Try to respect that boundary. Like, I'm just going to film quick and then we can enjoy this meal together.
Do you ever want to collaborate with other mukbangers, like, and sit there and do a video together and eat together, but like not talk?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like I don't know of any mukbangers around here, but maybe your podcast will connect.
Who knows? So hit her up.
Anybody want to collab?
Sarah Mukbangs.
Yeah.
Mukbangs.
Hit me up.
I love it. Anything you want to add or you want people to know, or your goals with this?
I would just say
this is your niche. You're not like veering off. You're not going down another road.
No. I would just say this kind of isn't about mukbangs, but if to anybody out there who might want to just start on social media, like, you should just post the video. Like, just post the video.
Just do it.
That's the worst part of it, I feel like.
What were your first TikToks? Was it you eating or was it something else? How did you realize this is what I'm going to do? Because it blew up for you on TikTok. So how did you finding your niche, right, is so tough on social media sometimes.
I think I already decided what my niche was before I started. So it really just started with mukbangs, like right off the bat. And then I think that's where it started, but then it kind of evolved and changed into other things. So like I do some lifestyle content. I love doing like short form recipe videos. And like my recipe videos, I typically also do like that ASMR style. So my channel has kind of evolved over time, but it started with mukbangs because that was what I loved.
That's your roots.
That's my roots, yeah.
Yeah, but I think for you what's really cool, you're still so passionate about being a teacher.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think the coolest thing is, like, you do this because it was a passion, but I think how you turned it into something that to pay for your education, super impressive.
Yeah, honestly, I never thought that it would turn into anything more than just a passion, but now like it is a job for me too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think people don't realize like it's a lot of work still on the side. Even though it's a side hustle, it's more than you sitting down, pulling up a chair and eating food. Now, as many burritos as I've seen you eat, a lot of them are Chipotle, right?
Oh yeah.
How have you not eaten? Do you have a brand deal with them?
No.
Can we get Chipotle to like hit her up and like the girl is pimping out your burritos like every day?
Seriously, like hashtag Chipotle sponsor me. Like what the heck?
I love this.
They comment on my TikTok a lot.
They do.
So, we're working on the relationship, but it's there.
What do you get on your burritos?
You know what? I don't think I have like an order. Like people ask me like, what's your Chipotle order? Like, what do you get? I change it up all the time.
Okay.
Because like I love the steak. I love the chicken. I even just love the veggies. Like I'll get the other day, like my last Chipotle mukbang was just me eating a veggie burrito because I love it.
All right. And when you are not filming, when you are not teaching as a special education teacher, who are you off camera? What are your passions? What do you love? You mentioned yoga.
Yes, I love yoga. I love my dog. I love walking my dog. I love reading. I would say I'm a homebody.
Yeah, same.
I
I love, home decor. I love like decorating my home and refurbishing things. I love reading. Like anything I could do at home, like that's what I love.
I love it. And is it weird talking to you? I'm like getting super hungry. I just want to go either eat a burrito or I want to eat the other stuff you got on your channel.
Yeah. Should we go out to eat after this?
Oh my gosh. Do people ever challenge you to be like, but I can eat you under the table?
Yeah, I think more so the comments are like, girl, you eat too much. But yeah.
Girl, you eat too much.
But I'm
Wow.
sure I've had a comment like that.
All right. You want any more pretzels, by the way, before we wrap this up?
Maybe
ahead.
after the show,
Give me one more bite, Sarah
Sure,
style.
of
As
course.
I'm still like the ASMR, the mukbang. Go ahead, just do it from the beginning. There we go.
This is not sponsored, by the way.
I could listen to it all day. Listen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
I learned
having
so
me.
much. Mukbang. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mukbang, mukbang. People say it different ways, but it's really cool. And the easiest way to follow you, give your social handles, because I think people, if they really just want to chill and zen out, your videos do that for us.
Thank you. I am Sarah Mukbangs across all the social media platforms.
I love it.
Instagram, TikTok.
Got it. Good stuff.
Thanks for
I'll
having
steal
me.
those pretzels back in a minute.
There you go.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. Sarah, what a Northeastern Pennsylvania rock star, doing your thing and just getting like a global audience.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Keep killing it. And hey, I'll see you next time on The Ryan Leckey Show.